Hello from the Yarn Closet in Southern Arizona. I'm Laura. It's been a nice week. It's been a long week. It's been a not great week and a nice week all at the same time. This next week is the last week of school. I'm not looking forward to that. We have 8 weeks off between. We're a 10-month school district. So it's a full day on Monday. I volunteer in the library half the day and then half the day with third grade. And then Tuesday I spend in Tucson in the doctor's with my dad. We'll be talking about palliative care, if not hospice. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be all half days. Friday's the last day of school. We only go in for 2.5 hours. So my son will be driving that day and just staying in the library with me. I'm shocked at how decent the weather has been so far this year. We are so blessed by that. After last year, I think we were all just panicked and paranoid. And with the cost of everything, who can afford air conditioning? We have started only shopping every 2 weeks. And my daughter loved these cookies that we got last Monday. I think she ate 8 of them last night. And I'm like, if you eat too many this weekend, then we can't be putting them in your lunch next week. You've got 1 more week of lunches. Well, 4 days of lunches. Because we're not getting more until a week from Monday. We're only shopping every 2 weeks. We can make it through. And so I'm pretty happy about that. We're nailing down how we do those grocery lists. I mean, that takes a while, but my goal is to get to a point where it's $400 twice a month, $800 a month for 4 people. That is shockingly more of a challenge than you would think, because we have some snacky eaters. Some very, very snacky eaters. And some very particular eaters for textural things and whatever. But I think this is all just a process. I think it can be done. I think we just have to figure out how to get there. And look at this. I have always wanted one of these. A sock box. Homemade, handmade socks. So I've got 2 pairs in the wash, and there are 9.5 pairs in here, and I'm wearing a pair. That means 10.5, 11.5, 12.5. 12.5 pairs plus last weekend I started the heel of this one. I finished this one, although I don't like the yarn that I used for the heel, because not all sock yarn is created the same. It's just not. And then I just have to Kitchener this one. So I'm going to try to Kitchener that one today. I'm going to try to weave in all the ends on those 2. So that would be 13.5 pairs of socks. Now, here's the trick. They don't all fit me happily. I've decided that any of them that are real bad, if there's chunks that I can undo and save because I really like the sock yarn, let me explain that to you. Can I explain that to you? Okay, I thought that was a good pair to explain with. Maybe this is a good pair to explain. This is a good pair to explain with. Okay, see how I have a hole here and I've got another hole coming there? And then I've got this hole that I've done a couple of times. These feel like they maybe need to go in the wash. Maybe I'll put all of these in the wash. So what I'm saying is, if there's a pair that blows out and I really don't like the way they fit because the heel wasn't quite deep enough, I have to do at least 4 rows of heel before I start my decreases. And then because my blindness has gotten worse and distractions are still a thing, I just decrease every row. I can't do the every other. I prefer the every other but I just can't do it. I can't keep track of it, and I can't read my knitting well enough. So, maybe I'll just put a bunch in with this next wash and do like a delicate wash. Oh gosh, that's an idea. Yeah. We have decided, I got all my Mother's Day stuff early this year. It was quite lovely. Oh, I forgot to bring it. I was going to bring in the letter that Prue wrote me. She thanked me for always trying to cheer up, even when she doesn't want me to. How sweet is that? And then we're going to watch Cousin Donna's, Aunt Donna's Cats for a month after the school year's out. And then we are going to go for a 3-day trip, 2 nights over in New Mexico with the kids. We're going to visit, there's a ghost town we are going to visit on the way. There's some ruins of like Pueblo houses in the mountains in New Mexico we're going to visit. There are some in Arizona, but the New Mexico drive is a little bit easier. And my daughter's excited because it's New Mexico. It's a different state. She's been there before. She just doesn't remember. And it's our 10th anniversary. That has not occurred to anyone but me. So I'll be able to say that on the trip, and that will be fun for people. This, I just was in Shutterfly today. Look at this. This is the hair that I've wanted since I was 17 years old. I'm 52. That means what, 35 years? I think I have it, but I'm not her, so it doesn't look like that. I mean, somebody tell me in the comments, do I have that hair already? It's just my hair, and so it doesn't do the same thing because my hairline has completely receded. I look like a man. I pulled all my hair back this morning, and I've got these 2 deep. I mean, look at how much that has receded on both sides. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. I look like a man. That's why I don't do ponytails other than long ponytails anymore, because I just think it looks too ridiculous. It's not right. And then somebody said, oh, get this $60 a month, $120 a month oil that you rub into to regrow your hair. I don't know that the oil really makes a difference. I think what it is the daily massage. But if you're shampooing your hair every day, or you're doing your hair every day and you do that kind of a thing, I think that's actually what the stimulation is. And I do that every day, and I've done that every day, but it has still done this in the last 5 years. It's completely gone berserky, which is also why I liked it more when it was shorter. It felt perkier because it felt fuller. It felt like it had more of a style. Now, as it's getting longer, I feel like, once again, it's drawing out my face, which isn't great, and I'm just having to use this stuff to hide all of this. So now you know in my head what the goal is. And I'm going to go a little bit longer and see if that makes any difference. But I think the bottom line is I've been looking at pictures. It's just the fact that in the last 3 to 4 years, it has receded so much. Especially on this side. That's my problem. And I don't really like how it draws down my face. Like that moment, this moment of, ooh, she washed her hair today. She put some stuff in it. This is a moment of, that's not so bad. But it doesn't look like this all day. And then because I put some anti-frizz on it after I was done drying it, and then I used the other blow dryer because you have to add a little bit of heat after the antifrizz, or somehow it doesn't work because everything takes heat nowadays. By the end of the day, it'll be greasy and flat and kind of like a cow sucked my head. Pisses me off. But it's life. And I went to the dentist and I said, I haven't been in like 6 years. I'm going to need a scaling. Set me up with 2 appointments. Well, I don't like their office person. She didn't listen to me. So, and she didn't call in my insurance ahead of time. So now I'm waiting. They took pictures. They looked at my teeth, and I'm waiting for my future appointments where they will do the scaling. And they want to do it in 4 sessions to charge me 4 times. And I said, no, I can do it in 2. It's not going to be overly painful or uncomfortable for me. I'm fine. I've been here before. I had a tooth pulled without Novocaine. I am fine. You could do it in 1 session. I'd just be fine. It'd just be overwhelming. And it'll get us back on track, and I'm happy about it. But, yeah, I think I actually have this hair, but it just doesn't look like that on me because I don't have that hairline anymore. That's a bummer. The upside is I'm quite happy about my sock box. I'm quite happy about my knitting projects over the next 8 weeks. The things that we've come up with to help entertain the kids. We're going out to lunch with my dad later this month for his birthday, and then my daughter's going to stay with the other grandparents for a couple of nights. It seems like everybody has now come through the COVID, and knock on wood, nobody gets a relapse, a rebound relapse. They call it rebound, I guess, if it happens within 2 months of the first one. So hopefully we're good there. And then we have our little trip. We've got 2 daytime outings in June. And then July is just 2 weeks. So I think we've got it. I think it will actually feel to my daughter like a full summer. And that really is the goal because she's the only one that cares. And I think it is a responsibility of parents, if you can, to give your kids these feelings and experiences when they're young. So that is my weekly update. And I have thought about you guys repeatedly this week and how excited I am to talk to you and touch base. I did not vibrate plate every day this week. There were a number of days I missed. Okay, so last weekend, an 8th grade student died in an ATV accident. It was very traumatic. I did not know her personally. She had a brother in 3rd grade, which I didn't have a lot of anything to do with. I think I know the student, same grade as my daughter. It really affected us everywhere in the school because we have a multiplex complex of primary school, middle school, and high school. And we're in Arizona, so it's an outdoor complex. So you have various buildings, and then everybody uses the same lunchroom building. There's a main gymnasium everybody uses. Kids walk between buildings. Because when is there a time where they couldn't walk between buildings? Very rarely. Because we live in Arizona. And so it was just a heavy, hard week. And even when those things don't personally affect you when you're in an organization, it affects you. And so there were nights where I got home and I can't really vibrate plate most mornings because I can't do it if my husband's asleep. And then most of the time we're rushing off. If I can get 5 minutes and do just 5 minutes in the morning, I will. But that's only if my daughter stays on task. And it's the end of the school year. I mean, that's a tough order. There is their end of the year party next Monday. She doesn't even know if she's allowed to go to it. Because there's a number of students that they're not sure if they're allowed to go or not. because there's criteria, and my daughter has a talking in class problem, and I want to be involved in everybody else's business. So half the time she's talking, it's, hey, you need to knock it off. You need to knock it off. You need to just stop doing that. So there's a handful of kids that don't know what their status is, but I'm volunteering at the party. So right or wrong, and I've had some criticism already with a couple of people I've told this to, I'm staying and volunteering for the party. If she can't go, she's going to sit in the other classroom with the other kids that can't go and do their packet or whatever. And that's just a consequence. Guess what? There are consequences for your actions, good ones and bad ones. Guess what? There's consequences in life that you have to deal with that you didn't even cause. And I think one thing that's missing in today is that kids don't deal with enough consequences. They don't understand that you can live through the consequence or the discipline or whatever. That's my aunt. She made some kind of Mother's Day surprise, or they did in book club, so she's delivering it. And of course, my kids that are supposed to be on task are not on task. Because once again, kids aren't anymore. They're just not. Whatever. They'll all grow up and they'll figure it out. And I think that you need to do more parenting, yes. And kids need to have consequences. I mean, she was upset. I don't like that. But this isn't like, you know. And life. It's been a week. I really appreciate you. I hope you're having a good one. I hope you're planning for your summer. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.